Like, there's no actual
right?
measuring
and
tool.
there's not like a printout that you like give to someone and be like, oh, I told you mine's narrower than yours.
Yeah, there's no way.
Not that you want to brag about that anyway.
Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy.
It's Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob.
Welcome to the Whisky Rant Podcast.
It's a little crusty,
It's frustrating.
and it's going to be a little bit of a rant.
I don't understand it. I don't know why.
Some sort of injustice.
Anyway, end rant.
Hello and welcome back to the Whisky Rant Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Rob.
Tonight we're talking about new Scottish distilleries and where they might find their place in the realm of a very established country of whiskey makers.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a hiatus in whiskey buying, I feel, in the last little while. So we're going to get into that as well, because I wonder how these new distilleries will be affected by people tightening their purses, as Ralphie would say.
Yeah, so we're going to talk whiskey boom. Obviously, you know, where it's headed is it's still going to be booming because in the last 10 years or so in Scotland, over 30 new distilleries have made a name for themselves or trying to make a name for themselves.
Which is significant because before that, it was mostly distilleries shutting down.
Yeah, you maybe had like around 100 or so distilleries in Scotland, and that's increased by like 30%. So that's a huge increase in just like a decade of time. Obviously, globally, so many distilleries are popping up. It's everywhere. It's every country. Even look at the giant producers in like India. There's more distilleries starting up there. It's everywhere. So like, let's focus on Scotland tonight. Tell them what we got in front of us. We got some newish distilleries being represented here.
Yeah. So from my right to my left, we have the Isle of Raasay. This one is aged in a combination of 6 different casks. Half of them were peated barley, half of them were not peated barley. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's claimed to be a lightly peated whiskey. So Isle of Raasay. Then we have 2 different Kingsbarns. We have the Dream to Dram, which I believe is a bourbon cask, or the STR stripped, toasted, recharred casks. And then the Balcomie, which is, I believe, sherry. Yeah, sherry barrels, or finished in sherry barrels. We have the Clydeside, which is another lowland. So these two are, Kingsbarn is lowland. Okay. Clydeside is lowland as well. These are all presented well at 46% at least, which is nice. And unchill filtered, no added color. So they got that part right for sure.
I see that on all these labels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Ralphie effect is.
This is the Ralphie effect right here.
100%.
Right? It has to be because
100% it is.
Because they opened up in the last 13 years, which is right in and around the time when Ralphie started his channel, probably about 13 years ago, 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, and just constantly pounding down the door of the old school chill filtered added color garbage that was happening for a century before that.
Yeah.
You know, Wolfburn, which actually Ralphie has spoken about many times. This is the Aurora. It's a sherry oak. All right. And then last but not least,
Here we go again.
Here we go. Ardnamurchan. This is the highest of the ABVs at 58.7, so I'll probably sip that one last. Yeah. This is an Isla, the Ardnamurchan. Is the Wolfburn a lowland?
I feel like it's in the northern part of Scotland, but I could be wrong about that.
Product of Scotland. Yeah.
I'll put it in here where there's.
Yeah, we'll put that up. It looks like there's an image matured and bottled at Wolfburn Distillery, Thurso, Scotland.
Not really sure where
that means nothing to me.
Where Thurso is. Yeah.
So, so we have these 6 bottles we're gonna taste, and we'll probably score 1 or 2 of them, maybe 3, if we really feel they deem.
Sure.
You know, but I think the purpose of tonight is to see, like, out of these whiskeys, what is leading you to buy a new distillery from Scotland? Or, you know, some of the stuff that's over my shoulder, like a Ben Romick that's been around for decades. You know, your Glenallachie, who's represented by a big name in like Glenallachie could technically be up here as well. They're relatively new. They're relatively new in ownership, right? And production as far as relabeling, rebottling, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they come with that pedigree that people gravitate towards, and now they've proven themselves as well.
Yeah, new distilleries have to really sell themselves as something a little bit different, I feel. Because who's going to take a chance? It's going to be the whiskey curious, the anoraks, the enthusiasts. So you have to present a whiskey in a unique way, and these all are 46% non-chill filtered or better.
Yep. So what's going to be that standout, right? What's going to make them stand out versus what's already there?
Yeah.
Especially when it seems like they might have come at a time where we're on the downside of the hill.
Are we? It's to be debated.
It is to be debated, but I feel like we are. Like I've never seen. And what really shows it for me is, like, I've been inactive in secondary for years, but what I'm noticing in secondary now is there is just no interest in secondary.
Not the prices, because the prices are just out of control.
Yeah, and so a great example of this is the Macallan Harmony, the newest one, the Arabica. So it came out in a few different pockets in North America, and immediately it was already going for a higher price by mostly retailers.
Yeah.
Then it hit the LCBO, and guess what happened? It sat on the shelf at $250, which is like $100 less than what most places were charging.
Really?
And it hasn't moved, and it's still available now. And I should actually double check that, but the last time I checked, there were still 36 bottles at a local store.
Yeah.
At a walk-in best average, which is not likely for the LCBO.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing about Macallan is, like, well, our really good friend on Instagram purchased thousands and thousands of bottles of that and bragged about how he was so ahead of the market. And obviously he's not making any money on those bottles, because, like, every time a new release comes out, you're just like, oh, another round of this, like, you know, stuff that Macallan's just pushing on everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's a trend that distilleries are taking advantage of now. It's like the limited releases. More people are buying expensive bottles versus they're buying more lesser quantity but more expensive. So, like, you're seeing all this stuff from Macallan, right? They're coming out with all these series, and it's like, do people find these things collectible? Are they going to be collectible?
They might still turn out to be collectible. Like, I'm sure people that were hoarding the 12 were being laughed at a long time ago, and now they're looking at us and saying, haha, we knew better.
Yeah.
The old 12, like the one, the old school bottling.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who bought the edition series, right? Because, like, we knew that one would be collectible,
right?
Because it was super limited, compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
But look at number 2.
It's still going up.
Number 2 is crazy.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, not as much, but still for profit, 100% profitable. Those bottles. I personally didn't think that, number 6 or 4 or 5 would be going for profit, but they are.
They are. I think it is kind of inevitable with Macallan, but I thought that was really interesting because 3 years ago, a Harmony hit the shelf and it was going to be like gone in 3 seconds.
Yes.
Like, you wouldn't be able to get to the store in time.
Yeah, and to go back to your point about the secondary market, for us anyway, what we've noticed, it has cooled from where it was. And that could definitely mean that we are at, like, the peak of where bottles are going to be valued at.
I think we have to be there now.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost, to go any further north of this, you're starting to flirt with a standard whiskey, which is a 12-year-old, for centuries. Like, that, or, not centuries, but, the last few decades, a 12-year-old was your entry-level Scotch. Now that's no longer the case.
Yeah.
It's $100.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think people are just sick of seeing very average to below average whiskey selling for 10 times the retail price.
Yeah.
And they're
that's a fair point.
just fed up with it, I think.
Absolutely.
It's just like, it's out of control, and you have market manipulation we've talked about it before with Springbank on the UK auction markets, where people are hoarding and then bidding up each other's auction prices to artificially inflate the price and then drop their stuff. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
People are just sick of it, right? Like another Weller comes out, it's like, all right, here we go again, where it's like, only these people are getting the allocation, and it's all very like bullshit, politics, under the table garbage. And if you want one, you have to get into a lotto or wait in line, or it's just like, who cares? It's not even that good of whiskey.
And that's the thing. It's not even good.
Yeah.
That I think, and that's where I think we're starting to see, like, people are starting to get stuck with bottles on secondary. So like, okay, you know what? I have 30,000 William LaRue Wellers because I've been collecting it for the last 10 years, or hoarding it. I'm gonna open one of these, and they're like, okay, yeah, this is good, but I would never pay $2,000 for this bottle.
I mean, William LaRue Weller, you're actually talking about like good.
The better ones. I know.
Here's a picture of I found on Instagram the other day of a guy with 500 bottles of Blanton's Gold.
That's a great example, because
and it's like Blanton's Gold is like, I don't know, man. Like, that whiskey's not that good. Once you open one of those, he's obviously never drank it before. Once you open one of these bottles, you're gonna be like, I don't know, dude. This isn't that good.
No.
And I have 500 of them.
Yeah, that's a tough. Blanton's, we've always laughed at how bad that whiskey is, and how, if you have a pretty bottle, you have a chance. Right? I guess that's.
It has one of the most unique bottles in the game. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And like the horsey on top is fun.
Yeah.
The straight from the barrel is a really good bourbon.
Yeah. But that was great. That was. When hasn't that ever come around? That was like a European exclusive, wasn't it?
So Blanton straight from the barrel used to only be sold outside the United States, mostly in the UK and in Asian markets, of course.
Yeah.
But they just started selling it, I believe, in the US. Although I don't think I've ever seen one, or seen someone else seen one either.
Right.
But I believe that they're in the US now. But why would they release so much of that? Why wouldn't they just thin out their supply? And they sell out everything, so like, why not just sell the regular single barrel? Sell millions of units of that,
Where's Ardnamurchan from? It's a Highland. Sorry, it says it right there. It's a Highland.
Yeah, I think you said Isla before, but it's not an Isla.
No, I think I did say Isla. It's a Highland. Yeah, my bad. I think I was thinking Highland or Isla because it's peated.
This one is not peated. Is it?
Yeah, it's got a little bit. It's got a little bit of peat. Not much. It's very salty.
They do have like a peated expression, though, right? Do they not?
I think most of theirs.
But they have one that's like, this is our peated expression.
I want to try. There's actually a Madeira cask that I want to try with these guys. Have you done your whole round so far? Mm-hmm. And so, like, what are the ones that stand out to you so far?
Well, the Isle of Raasay, or whatever you have it. Raasay. That one stands out. Yeah. That is actually a solid peated Scotch.
I think so too.
I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And these Kingsbarns.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I like the sherry one. I think there's a bit of a sulfury note there. Yeah. But the strip, the STR, is very fruity. Like, it's super fruit forward.
I was gonna say, there's like this I don't know what you're right. It's like, it's super.
It's like that bubble, not gum, not like a Trident, like peach, like something. Like,
yeah. What's that like Trident fruity kind of gum?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm getting.
Like mint and fruit.
Yes, it's like effervescent, like minty peach mango kind of note.
Yeah, you're right. That's spot on. And that is really good. Very, very vibrant. Mm-hmm. Very vibrant on the palate and on the nose as well.
And this one kind of stands out to me too. It's also super fruity. The Clydeside.
Yeah, I do like the Clydeside.
Super fruity. I like that profile. I mean, I'm really impressed with this. Mm-hmm. I haven't been giving this enough attention. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while.
Yeah. With this Clydeside on the finish, you get this really nice, like, custardy kind of note.
I think where this stands out, that's what I was going to say. I think the viscosity on the Clydeside really stands out.
Huge. It's like crazy.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's
I like
good.
that.
So, like, where are these distilleries, how are they promoting themselves? How are they going to get their name out there? How are they going to, like, break into this market? because this is what everyone has issues with right now, right? This oversaturation of the market is coming.
So I have a very hard time committing to a purchase now. I don't know if you're feeling that too. It's like, yeah, I want that. But is it gonna just sit on my shelf for the next 6 months? Mm-hmm. Because like, it's got a lot of competition here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's literally like some of these, even though they're good, they have.
Yeah.
Like the Ardnamurchan, these Kingsbarns. Actually, I wish I would have been giving the Dream to Dram more attention, but they still have been sitting on my shelf quite a while. And it's not because they're not good, but it's like, how are you standing out when all these other guys are still doing it right?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like if you look at a lot of like consumer trends and like the way people buy their stuff, like the point of entry for Scotch whiskey is pretty expensive now. So like, is someone who drinks, Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, a little bit of Highland Park, and maybe something else, very established brands they've been drinking all this time, are they going to venture out and spend possibly more money on a bottle that they know nothing about?
My guess is no.
No, they're
right?
not. They're
My
absolutely
guess is no.
not.
Right? Because like, I can get, and this is what I keep going back to, is I can get a bottle of Glenallachie 12 for $75. On a sale price, I can probably get it for $75 all in at my door.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult
Right.
for me to like recommend something outside of that.
It's tried, tested, true.
Right.
You know your money's going to be spent with something you like. You take a risk on one of these new brands, new distilleries. If it's just okay, then you've maybe thought less of the purchase. It has to kind of exceed your expectations.
Well, that's the thing. So here's the picture I want to paint. You do these in a blind tasting. Maybe they outrun your typical like 12-year-olds that are from like the major distilleries.
Yeah.
Maybe they beat them. Now you look at price.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Usually the major distilleries are coming in at a lower price than these guys because they can afford to.
Yep.
How are these guys keeping the lights on?
Yeah.
Even like the Clydeside, the finish on that is fantastic. Like the fruitiness that you get from this Dream to Dram, I don't know if I've tasted that before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a really quality peated malt.
Yeah.
And then this has all kinds of upside. Like it's salty as hell. I've never had it's only about 5 years old. It's very salty. It's got like great character, but who's gonna try them? Who's
That's
gonna
the
buy
thing.
them?
You have to try it, and that's where like I think that it comes in, and I think that's why a lot of these whiskey brands are investing huge into their reps, their whiskey shows, their tastings, whatever. Like you have to get your whiskey into someone's hand, because you're only really selling this because it's like either word of mouth or whatever. Because like people pass by it in the stores, if the stores will even take it to begin with.
Exactly, and you know that the LCBO won't be seeing any of these for a very long time.
No.
Right?
Although they do have this.
They do have the Isle of Raasay. Somehow that snuck in.
They have the Raasay, yeah.
Somehow that one snuck. Yeah, you're right. At not a bad price. I think it's like what, $100?
Around 100.
I mean, it's only what, 4 or 5 years old. It's very good.
Yeah.
But I can buy a Jag 10-year-old for $70.
Yeah.
Or $80. Depending on where I'm buying it from.
And like, if you want to spend $10 more, you can get Ardbeg 10.
Right.
I mean, Ardbeg 10 is very expensive, the LCBO, but still, for only $10 more, you're getting Ardbeg 10.
Right. So it's like, yeah, that looks cool on your bar. That's like whiskey geeks like us will take a chance on something like this, which we have obviously because it's here. Actually, this one was lent to the Clydeside and the Isle of Raasay were lent to us by our boy P-Boss.
Nice.
These two were given to us by Travis. Great dude.
Yes.
Edmonton Scotch Club.
Yep.
And then I purchased this and you purchased this.
Yes, the Wolfburn I purchased and you purchased the other one. Yep.
Yeah. So even for us, it's hard to take a chance on stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So okay, now I'm gonna pose a question. Do the Scots even care? Because they are pretty patriotic, and then all of a sudden, so this is St. Andrew's Distillery, the famous golf course is right nearby.
Yeah.
Do they have enough local support that they just don't care? Because they know that they're going to sell enough bottles to their family and friends and the town that, you know, if they sell some bottles globally, great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a big risk, but I think a lot of whiskey brands are getting into it now because it's the boom, right? Whereas other established brands can just pump out more product and limited releases and make way more money. They run a huge risk because you're right. Have we peaked? Have we gotten to the top of the crest? Look at the world economics right now. Inflation's huge, cost of production's huge, right? Like new companies can't make a bottle of whiskey for cheap anymore. They can't undercut their competitor. It's not going to happen. No chance.
No.
Right? Wood's expensive, glass is expensive, production's expensive. Everything is super, super expensive. So prices of manufacturing and producing whiskey aren't going to go down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very risky time. It's a very, very risky. And if we go on a downturn and people aren't buying expensive whiskey anymore, these guys are all screwed.
They'll be the first to go, unfortunately.
They're all screwed.
And I really do feel bad for them because they're doing everything the right way. It's just, is it bad timing? It might be just bad timing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the last 10 years, maybe they made enough to sustain the lull for a while. And I hope they have. But I can't help but feel like it's bad timing for these guys. And it's not just Scotland that's going to feel this.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. There's some parts of the world that, you know, they're taking the more buy local approach. So maybe these guys will stick around because the thing is, like, Scotland per square foot of land has like the most distilleries by a crap ton. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know what the population of Scotland is, but I don't think it's enough to sustain all of those distilleries, right? In Canada, despite the fact that there's been a whole bunch popping up, we still, like, you know, I feel like I could still help, like, once in a while buy, you know, I'm buying a Two Brewers, I'm buying a Celtic Point, I'm buying, Macalones, you know what I mean? I'm buying a Last Straw, you know? I can still do that and not feel like it's too much because it's not overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
But for these guys, I feel like it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And these all are very unique, which I will give them.
Absolutely.
And I mean, and they have to be. Right.
They have to be, because if you're too similar to what's out there already, then what?
If you're doing just like another Glenlivet, why am I buying you?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend to Kingsbarn to do more of whatever they did with this Dream to Dram, because that is a fantastic whiskey.
It is very good. The sherry one's actually solid as well.
I'm a little susceptible to that touch of sulfur in there.
Yeah.
For me, I could do without that.
But I agree, it does shine in that ex-bourbon cask. Which is that what it is, or something else?
It's an STR, so it's a strip toasted and recharred.
Yeah.
Shaved, toasted and recharred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ex-bourbon as well. There's a first fill ex-bourbon in that one as well.
Okay.
Really, really good. I think maybe, and I still taste that fruitiness, so I can't even, maybe the viscosity is not necessarily the most on that one.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I mean, especially when you go to this one here. The Clydeside, is that what it's called?
Yeah. So we gotta pick favorites, I guess.
Yeah.
That's tough. It's because they're so unique that it's hard to say, like, I like this one better than this one, because I can see a place for each one of these.
And do we remember the price? We talked about the Isla one there, or sorry, the heated. It was around 100 Canadian.
I think these ones are south of 70.
Okay.
So that's a good sign.
Around 70, yeah.
The Clydeside about the same, 70 to 80. I don't know the price
The
of the
Wolfburn, I believe, was like 79, or it was 85,
and
around there.
I think I paid close to 100 for the Ardnamurchan.
100. Okay, but that is cast strength.
Yeah, that's cast strength.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you had around $100, which one are you picking off the table?
Oh man, So it's definitely down to what I feel like that day. Do I feel like a peated whiskey? Do I feel like, you know? I think pour and plate quality, peated or not peated, I think it's these two. As far as like pour and play. But when I want something a little different, little like unique characteristic, I think I would go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that the one that's standing out for me right now is this Clydeside.
Clydeside's really good.
The finish on this is very unique. It's not like anything you've really had before.
No.
And you get that like that custard dessert.
Yeah.
And the viscosity is through the roof on it. It's a really, really nice whiskey.
It is. It is really nice. This is actually way tougher than I thought I anticipated it being, to be honest.
The Wolfburn for me is the least interesting, I feel.
Yeah, it's good. It's classically good, but it's nothing that I care to go back to. And like this is a prime example of something that could easily, without the right like representation, I guess, fall by the wayside.
And like people talk about Wolfburn, and there's lots of expressions from their distillery that get
so
rave
perhaps
reviews.
This is not the best one.
This one maybe they're more entry level,
Right.
basic one. But yeah, I mean, these are solid whiskeys, very, very solid.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked at how fruity this is.
Yeah.
I'm like, the nose is by far the best on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm probably picking that one as well. That and Clydeside are my two favorite. This one, when I tried the very first time,
You didn't love
the
it.
Raasay. No, I wasn't loving it.
Yeah.
And tonight it is drinking a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I still like meh.
I think that night that you first tried that though, we had some epic whiskey that night,
Probably.
right? So
When don't we drink well over here, you know?
yeah, this one I like the nose on this one because it's got like this like salty kind of peat. Like it's really a salty kind of peat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but like these whiskeys are very good. But like again, you gotta get people with the glass in their hand because you're not gonna just none of these bottles stick out to me.
Okay, so let's play fortune teller for a second here. In 5 years, based on what you've tasted tonight, plus what you know about the distilleries, because we know there are certain names that are pumping some of these
Yeah.
that will turn the tide for them a little bit in a positive way,
Yeah.
I think. Actually, so you know what? Let's disregard all that and let's just go based on what we've tasted tonight. If you had to choose who's gonna stick around in the next 5 years, we shouldn't phrase it like that. Who's gonna be the the outlier that is the best in the next 5 years? Because hopefully they all stick around. I really hope so.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Because I mean, I know Wolfburn has got some buzz.
Yep.
Obviously, the
Ardnamurchan. Ardnamurchan, yeah. Yeah, whatever. we are the worst for that one, the title of that.
I mean, this one obviously it won New Distillery on the Online Scotch Whisky Awards.
Yes,
so
that will definitely project it.
for sure,
Yeah.
right? It's got a lot of hype. Even before that, it had hype.
Yes.
Right. We knew about it. It got a lot of buzz.
And let's be honest, this is not the most fair judgment of any of these because
Right.
we're only trying 1 to 2 expressions tops.
Yeah.
Right. So
So from what I know about the whiskey community, I would say that these two have the most brand recognition.
yes, for sure they
right
do.
now.
Yeah.
So just based by that, that's what I would say. Those would stick around.
Yeah.
But by drinking ability, I mean, let's try some more of this.
I want to try more of that in bourbon and recharred casks,
Yeah.
and I want to try more of
Let's try
this.
some more of the Clydeside. Let's try some more.
What's this aged in? Because it's got and I think where they're gonna start to get a little bit creative here is they're gonna start to get creative with their yeast, because that can really impact the flavor profile. That can really impact the viscosity of a whiskey and all those different things. The cuts, those are we heard. The Macalones,
Yeah, Graham.
yeah, we heard him speak of cuts, quite a bit in that last rant that we
He
did.
was talking about taking extremely thin cuts.
Yeah, so he's like just hearts,
Yeah.
pretty much, and like the center of the hearts almost, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, a lot of people say like, oh, you know, we take like the narrowest cuts in the industry. He did say that. I've heard that said before.
yeah, he said
I mean,
that.
no one knows exactly who's cutting what, you know?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like it's almost like a impossible statement to prove. Because,
exactly.
Right?
That's why everyone says it.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's why everyone
It's
says
like,
it.
where is the center of the hearts?
Exactly.
Like, there's no actual
Right?
measuring
And
tool.
there's not like a printout that you like give to someone and be like, oh, I told you mine's narrower than yours.
Yeah, there's no way
Not that you want to
prove
brag about that anyway.
that. I mean, I hope, you know, for everybody's sake, this is not that narrow, but yeah, no, it's one of those things that it's, you know, self-fulfilling prophecy. You can't actually prove that you have the narrowest cuts.
Right. No.
Right?
I mean, you throw a hot dog down a hallway, take my word for it.
That's almost like a line out of Tommy Boy or something. I saw you went back to report
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I wanted to get another kind of nailed down what this fruit note is, because it is extremely vibrant. Really, really nice.
Yeah, it's there's some tropical, like maybe cantaloupe, mango. There's like something like refreshing in there as well. Like like we said earlier, maybe it's like a mint, like a fresh mint, like a mint plant kind of thing.
Yeah, it is like a mint kind of gum. And if I can find it, I'll throw it up on the screen of what I think it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like there's like there's those flavored Trident type gums.
Yeah, it's a fruit flavored Trident minty gum.
Yeah, so there's like the mango, the peach, somewhere in that kind of realm. Maybe a little bit of tangerine, something like almost soury,
Yeah.
right? Really nice.
Yeah, I mean, this could be the winner. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the only knock on it is like the viscosity. It's thinner.
it's thinner.
than the Clydeside. This thing is viscous as hell.
And so my only thing and fear, I guess, is can a new distillery maintain that flavor profile?
Yeah, that's
Right?
the thing, right? Like, are they just like, give me, like, they're taking their best casks?
Yes.
And our first couple releases are going to be the very best stuff that we've produced, right?
So far, and then
Yeah.
like, is this a honey barrel or is this something that they're capable of doing on a regular basis?
Yeah,
'Cause that's something I would really like to know.
100%.
You know, if they can match this flavor profile every single time, I'm buying this bottle all day, every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Dream to Dram. So for those of you that don't know, I think it's still available in Alberta.
And just to reiterate, these are all non-age statements. Is that correct?
That's a good point.
Sort of the bottle clanging as we look for age statements on these
Yeah,
things.
I'm pretty sure they are all
They're all NAS, right?
NAS, which is actually another interesting point. I think actually the only one that might disclose, but you have to scan it, is the Ardnamurchan.
Okay. But we're not saying this is any kind of age on it at all, right?
Now, the reason why this one will stick around for sure is because you know who bought these, right?
Yeah, the independent bottler.
Yeah, it starts with an A as
Adelphi.
well. Adelphi.
Adelphi. Yeah.
So they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And they actually are really good. They have. I mean, I would like to try more from them.
Yeah.
These other ones, I don't know. I don't know much about them. I shouldn't like. I worry about the industry as a whole because I feel like globally we probably have seen 1,000 distilleries pop up in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And there's no way. I mean, whiskey has become more popular thanks to YouTube and just, you know, online whiskey like awards, online Scotch awards. Sorry, it has become more popular. Bourbon Tube is huge now. You know, but
I think you're right because like flavor has become something that people are seeking.
right.
Right. I think it started with like the craft beer.
Yep.
People were just from like generic, everyday, mild tasting beers to like huge flavor bombs of beers.
Yes.
Same thing's happening, right? Like, remember when like vodka was like a huge thing? Like everyone was drinking vodka, vodka. And now people are like, fuck vodka.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
why don't we get
finally.
some favorable spirit in our life?
Yeah, if you're drinking a clear spirit, it should either be tequila or grappa.
If you go to say grappa one more time.
Say grappa to
If you go to any reputable cocktail bar in this city, not a single menu item will have vodka in it. I guarantee you that.
You're probably right.
I've been to a decent amount of them. And there's no vodka cocktails. There's not. They get vodka the fuck off the shelf.
Yeah, because it doesn't even make sense to do. Like, you still see like guys that buy bottles at bars and clubs, or sorry, like bottle service. They want the Grey Goose or whatever. But who's buying that?
Yeah.
19-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
20-year-olds, right?
Right.
So, no offense to the 19 and 20-year-olds, we did it too.
Yeah.
But you ain't
And
drinking that.
newsflash,
when you're-
Grey Goose is not that good of a vodka.
Right.
It's just marketed to be good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you ain't drinking that when you're 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, you know, 40 and up. So, these, honestly, I actually really enjoyed all of these. Even the Wolfburn, for the most part, it was enjoyable.
Yep.
You know, I feel like I worry where we're headed with the market. Maybe we will just see a crash in secondary and then everybody else can flourish. And that's the ideal.
I would like to see prices come down.
It would be nice to see prices come down.
You know.
It would be nice for these guys to get comfortable enough to say, you know what, we're going to start to compete with the big boys and drop our prices to these, like, you know, to make an NAS whiskey $50 again.
I just feel like every day there's more whiskey in a barrel than there was the day before.
Okay? Let's get that on a t-shirt.
You know what I'm saying?
Make NAS whiskey $50 again.
I love that. Yeah. Right? Because, like, okay, like, let's say all these, for argument purposes, they're 3 years old.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be approaching $100.
Right. There was a time where time in a barrel, you know, basically every year is like roughly 10 to $15.
Right.
And then you can multiply that by the amount of years, and that's kind of the bourbon formula.
Yeah.
That's kind of the bourbon formula. It's less so for the Scotch formula, but now,
Yeah.
right? NAS 3 years is $100.
Yeah.
Or $90.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas the big name 12-year-olds are all south of $100.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's really tough. It's a tough market for these guys. I wish them the best. I'm a fan of all these, and I hope they all are very successful. I just worry.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much variety. There's no shortage of variety of whiskey right now. It's crazy.
I remember when I first started my channel, it was like, what? Someone asked me, what happens when you review all the whiskeys? I'm like, sorry, what?
Yeah, all the whiskey.
I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like all the whiskeys that are available. I'm like, I couldn't review all the whiskeys if I did this every day for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like, I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
No.
So
No.
it was an interesting question, but like, you know, that's how much people. Like, there's a lot.
Oh,
of
back
people that
then
just
they're
don't-
probably like, you did Crown Royal,
Yeah.
you did Wiser's, you did Canadian Club.
What's left?
You got like 3 more. You're done. Turn off the channel.
Turn off the channel. You're done. It was a good run while it lasted. Okay, let's score a couple of these.
Yeah.
Can we score all? I mean, it's hard. It's hard to score all of these.
I can give a range of scores.
Yeah, let's give a range.
Okay.
Okay, keep in mind, my new scoring system is 2 points less than it was in the past. I kind of was a little like my last tequila review. I'm not sure if you watched it, but I feel like I was a little generous even then. Like, I should have probably, instead of scoring the Herradura an 88, I should have scored it an 86. That would have made more sense. Because I felt like I was marking my old style.
Right, you forgot.
I almost forgot.
Right.
Yeah, I did forget.
Yeah.
So, back to the new style marking, but if you want, you can go first.
Should we start on this end?
Sure.
Okay. So the Isle of, how do you pronounce this again?
I think
Raasay?
Raasay. Yeah.
Raasay. It's good. It's a nice peated whiskey.
Yeah.
It's got some flavors to it. It does actually kind of remind me of a Lejeg. You're right. It's got that saltiness. It's very, very salty. Maybe too salty for my liking.
Yeah.
But it is quite solid.
Yeah.
It's going to be a low 80 for me.
Okay.
I'm in the low 80s on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm around an 84 for this one. I think it's good.
Yeah. I don't think I'd pay $100 Canadian at the OCPO for it.
No,
but if I found it maybe on a better pricing market than here in Ontario, maybe I'd consider it.
At $65-$70, that's a buy all day long.
Sure. This next one, this Kingsbarn, what's it called again?
Dream to Dram.
Yeah. This is excellent.
Yeah, really good. Really, really good.
This is probably our favorite of the lineup tonight.
Nose and palate, the most unique, and I think in a blind it would stand out the most.
Yeah. It does have some lowland profile. Like you can be like, maybe a more experienced lowland drinker would catch it. But yeah, really, really good. And like we said, that like fruit explosions coming off of this thing is almost like unmatched. Like where do you get that?
That's the thing is I can't replace this bottle. Like I don't know what I could find out there on the market that would be exactly like that. Like, and I worry about that, to be honest with you. I do worry about that because it's like, will I get that again with this next time it comes around or whatever, you know?
I mean, it does say established 2014, so it could potentially be like 7-year-old whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. We should ask Travis.
It could be around 7 or 8, I guess.
Yeah,
technically.
Really good. What are you giving that?
Yeah, this is an 88. This is like, I'm recommending you buy this 100%.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, for me, that would be like old school. 88 is around an 86 for me. I'm saying, this is an 86, 87 for me for sure.
Yeah, and like I get to the point where like I recommended 88, and this is an 88.
Yeah.
I would pay. You said it was around $80.
I think less.
Less than 80?
Yeah.
You said 70?
I think I'm not 100% sure. These were gifted to the channel.
Okay.
To us, actually.
Right. Yeah, so that price point, for sure, a purchase. Just for the uniqueness and the vibrancy of these fruit notes, it's worth the purchase, 100%.
And there's literally nothing off-putting about that.
I like it. I
There's
do like
nothing
it.
off-putting.
Yeah, I do like it. I would have a bottle of that on my bar. It's like a more refreshing kind of a drink as well. It's not that heavy sherry. It's not peated. It's nice and fruity, but vibrant.
Great summer drink.
Absolutely.
And this would be like a wicked drink for a cocktail. Not that you would like. I mean, you don't need it in a cocktail, but like something minty, like peach juice, like that kind of like.
You could do like an old fashioned with orange bitters and like a lemon twist. It would be really good with that.
Yeah, for sure. So the Balcomie, which is the ex-Oloroso American.
Right. So the Kingsbarn with Oloroso.
Yeah.
Yeah, you picked some sulfur in this. You're more susceptible to sulfur than I am.
I am.
I thought this was pretty solid. I think I'm going to put it kind of around where I put the first one in a low 80 kind of score. It's probably like right on the dot with 80 for me because I do think this is actually pretty solid.
Yeah. So like I want to kind of explain that note that I get because it is a little sulfury, but it's almost like if you took like a burnt caramel and lit a match to it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I'm getting on that.
Like a little matchstick.
Which is still fine. I'm going to give this one a 78. I think it's good. I wouldn't necessarily buy that again, but I do think other people would like this way more than me. Mm-hmm. Because of my susceptibility to a little bit of sulfur, I'm not a huge fan of that one.
Yeah, and this one does not drink like a Lowlands whiskey to me.
It's it's trying to be Speyside. It feels like, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little sulfur.
It feels like maybe their spirit works better with the cask selection in the first one with the ex-bourbon and that recharred or restriped, whatever that is.
Yeah. So it's shaved, toasted, and recharred. If they can continue to do that, then they need to do that.
And that would probably be easier than sourcing Oloroso sherry casks, right?
Yeah, because if it's that good, just stick with that.
Yeah, perhaps the spirit just works better with those types of casks.
Yeah, Clydeside,
love the Clydeside. The viscosity is great. You get this like custard, chocolate fudge kind of finish on it that lingers for a long time. Mm-hmm. This one is like it's a mid 80 for me.
Yeah.
Probably like in that 86, 87 range.
Yep.
Really, really good. Definitely like one that I would recommend. What's the price point on it again?
I want to say in the 80s. Like, this is not available here in
Yeah.
Ontario, so it's tough to give it a proper like price.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just living for the finish. Like, is that enough to justify buying it? I mean, it's a highly recommended try for sure.
Yeah, I think this is, based on my new scoring, about an 85, 86 for me. Good, for sure. I do give the edge to the Dream to Dram.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I like that.
Really nice, yeah. Do like it a lot. The Wolfburn. This one for me is, I don't even know if it's touching 80, honestly. Like, would I take it? You know what? Maybe I would. It's like it's right at that 80 edge. You know,
Yeah.
it's just climbing up that last little ring on the ladder to get to the 80. I think for me.
Yeah.
I'd love to try some more stuff from Wolfburn because I've heard really nice things from them. But for this one, kind of a basic whiskey in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that an 80 as well. I think it edges out the Balcomie for me, just because there's nothing off-putting about this. It's an easy pour and play. Is it the best? No, but there's nothing off-putting about it. You know what I mean? So it's an 80. The price probably doesn't warrant the quality in the bottle, but I mean, again,
Yeah.
these guys got to make a living, so it's not easy out there.
Right. Yep.
And last but not least, the Argyle Ardnamurchan.
The Ardnamurchan. Yeah, this is a really good whiskey. I really do like it quite a bit. Again, it's the only cask strength one here. Yeah, this is like a mid to high 80 for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably an 87.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Really
Yeah, I'm at 86 for this one. Really good. I would definitely buy more Ardnamurchan.
Yeah.
I want to try more of it. I want to try the Madeira cask. I want to try I want to see what they do with sherry as well.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't. A lot of these are good. A lot of these are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they can survive, and we get to have this conversation in 5 years and say, what are they like now?
Yeah. And I'll put all of these in the description of the video with our scores. So if you want a quick reference, if you're like, oh yeah, what did they score that one with? Just check in the description down below. You'll see all the scores. If you want to, if you see one of these bottles and you want to pick it up.
Yeah, yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Happy with most of these, to be honest.
I mean, this is where new Scotch has to be, right? It has to be these interesting profiles that we might not have tried before, and these whiskeys do kind of stand out in their own regard for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good. And I mean, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
With all the options out there.
We are very lucky.
Yeah.
It's weird how, I mean, it's not necessarily a coincidence that all these YouTube channels about whiskey popped up and then whiskey blew up as well, right? So, I mean, there is something to be said about, you know, how long ago did you start your channel on YouTube?
About 5 years. Oh yeah, 5 years. It's
5
going to be
years.
5 years this summer.
And am I approaching 8 years in December?
I guess.
Is that what I'm approaching?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
right?
crazy.
You notice that we're drinking younger and younger whiskey as the years have gone by, and younger whiskey is getting better and better.
That's a great point. That's a great point. You could tell there's way more attention to detail now than there was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? 10, 20, 30 years ago, because they have to. They have to stand out.
Yeah.
There's so much competition.
Yeah. Like even like look at Ralphie, who went from someone for like boycotting NAS whiskeys to like rolling back a little bit on that boycott because NAS whiskeys are coming out with really good quality stuff now and worth the money.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
As long as they're being presented in a way like these are, you know, a good ABV without chill filtration and coloring, it doesn't matter if it's an age statement or not. It's like, is the whiskey worth the price?
Exactly.
Regardless of its age.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with probably any of these. I think you'd be happy with any of them.
And there's so much out there. Like even think about the online Scotch Whisky Awards and like who was up for Distillery of the Year and like we hadn't even tried some of those, more than half actually,
That's a good point.
because they weren't really in our market yet.
No.
But so much to explore out there, so we're really excited to see where the Scotch whiskey industry is going with all these new distilleries out there.
Yeah, and let's, I hope we can keep it rolling, and I hope that we're not near any type of bust, because there was a dark time for Scotch. Distilleries closed down, people were not buying, walking past 12-year-old Springbank.
Yeah, because of vodka.
Yeah.
Because of vodka.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
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 In the 80s, right?
Mind blowing. So I don't think we'll ever go back to that. And then
No.
I think
No.
we just gotta try to get the global price of whiskey maybe $10-$20 on average lower.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's getting too expensive. It is too expensive.
Yeah.
But leave us a comment down below. Stick in the Scotch whiskey realm, but like, where are you looking to for new distilleries? Have you tried any of these? And what is the best new distillery that you've tried in the recent years? Let us know. Comments
Yeah.
down below.
Absolutely.
And maybe we'll check it out as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Give us some recommendations.
Yeah, because there's so many out there that we haven't tried yet. And always interesting to try new stuff.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really much appreciated. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers.